Teachers, today I wanted to go over one of our resources, especially since we have a lot more Chromebooks in use, and I think especially for the elementary school teachers that are fixing to get Chromebook carts and possibly use Chromebooks a lot more. I've sent some resources out about this earlier in the year, but I thought I'd do a quick video, and it's Lightspeed's classroom management software. And if you will go to classroom relay, it's classroom.relay.school. I apologize. You will sign in using Google. It may ask for your Google credentials. If it does, just enter them in, just like whatever password you use for your email. And you see this first class pop up already. You probably will get a little bit of a different screen about setting up some schedules and some other things. But what Classroom Relay does is it allows you to see the screens of all your students in your class, and you can limit on what they can, what websites they can go to, and things like that. The biggest thing to remember is that this syncs with Google Classroom. So whatever Google Classrooms you have set up and whatever students you have in Google Classroom are the students that you will see here. And you can click this little guy over here, and you can see these are my classes that I've had. Now, I only teach one class a day, so that's 2020 Tech. You can see some of the older classes I've had. So that's the important part, is to make sure that your students are in Google Classroom. Okay, there is a way to manually put kids in, but the preferred way is to make sure your Google Classroom is set up, and you'll do a lot better. So I'm just going to choose 2020 Tech here, and these are my kids that are in this class at this current time. Now, you see classes not in session. That's because I teach from 7:45 to 9:30, and it's after that time now. But if they were logged in, they would have green, and you could click the name, and you could see exactly what they're browsing at the exact time that you're here. The other thing to do is you see view schedule. That's the first thing you will have to do, is set up your schedule. So of course you would choose the days of the week that you have that class and what time. This is very important because you want to make sure that you're controlling or seeing these students when you actually have them. If you don't set this up correctly, let's say I set this up for 10:30, you could come in here and control that student screen. It causes a lot of issues. So make sure that you have the days correct and the times. And here below, this is where you could add students manually if you wanted to. Either you could invite them in using their school email address, if you know that, or you could come down here and copy these links, and the student could go to that website. But again, preferred way is to use Google Classroom. A couple more things, the more options, you can lock their screens. I've noticed that share screen does not work very well, so I would not use that. But you might want to lock their screens. That way, if you're talking in front of the class, you could lock all their screens so they can't browse the internet or anything like that. Class settings takes us back to the same page. Okay, so if you don't have view schedule, if you click more options, go to class settings. That's just another way to get to the same page we're on now. Web rules is very, very interesting. You could tell it no browsing. None means they're wide open. They can go where they want to go. All right, customize. I think a lot of teachers use customize. So you've got two modes, explore mode. Most websites can be viewed except the ones you specifically block, rather. So, if you didn't want them to go to SoundCloud or something like that, you could just type those websites in here, just like. So, if you click apply, then they would not be able to go to SoundCloud. Now, there's this option down here. That's up to you. Focus mode would be strictly, you would just put USA Test Prep here. That way they would only be able to go to USA Test Prep. That would limit them pretty hard. And so it's something you will have to play with to choose what is best for you. I think that's really all I want to go over today. Just real quick, just how to log into the system, how to get your students set up, and know some of the tools. Now, I wish I had a student that I could actually click on. Let's click on Charles here. It actually goes by Mason. You can actually go back and see. So maybe you didn't catch Mason while we were doing things, but you thought he was off task. Well, you could come in here and you could actually look at his browsing history, okay, and see what he's been up to today, okay. And then, of course, you could go back and choose previous days. So this is a real easy way for you to be able to go back and see if that student was on task, okay, instead of maybe asking a principal or even putting in a ticket and saying, hey, what was this student doing? You can look for yourself, okay. And I think that's all I want to go over today. If you have any issues, let your media specialist know, put a ticket in, and we'll try to help you best we can. A couple of things that you can do that I can't do right now because I don't have any students is you can actually communicate. There's a chat feature that you can actually chat with the students. And also, we've noticed that this is not a perfect thing. It's not 100%. Sometimes, let's say Diamond is actually online, but she's not popping up. We've seen some of that. If that happens a lot, we want to know about it so we can contact Lightspeed to communicate that with them. And we've seen that they've done a lot of updates this past year. It's gotten a lot better. And just let us know. Thank you for viewing.